today. We are here in Fernley, Nevada, and it's an incredible day with the City Council, right. And we have Robert Eglet with us. Now, I've heard a lot about him from Peter Palivos, your buddy and mine now, and I didn't know what to expect today. I was hoping. I just had a feeling though when I went in there and I saw you sitting there and introduced myself, and I said, I'm not going to say anything about stats. This guy's got it under control. But he got up there today and gave an incredible presentation on the opioid and the problems we have with the opioids. Now, thanks for even talking with us.
Oh, my
Appreciate it. Absolutely. How did you get into this, what you're doing now with the opioid fight?
Well, interestingly, I have a very large, successful injury firm in Las Vegas, and I do cases all over the country, big trials all over the country. I'm a trial lawyer, and we do a lot of catastrophic injury cases, particularly a lot of spine injury cases, orthopedic injury type cases, and we have for many, many years. It's kind of been our bread and butter. We also do mass torts. I sue pharmaceutical companies, a lot of lawyers who work with me. We started noticing about 15 years ago that a lot of our clients who had to have a back surgery or or even just a knee surgery, even the high school kids, having these surgeries, that they'd be getting these prescriptions for these opioids, and the next thing we know, they're addicted. And part of the damage is we have to get them through rehab, or if the case is going to go to trial, we have to get them rehab before we go to a trial because we can't put them on the stand because they're an addict, they're a junkie. And we saw some of these clients turn to the street when they couldn't get the prescriptions anymore. Some of them became heroin addicts. And so we started seeing this firsthand, this problem. We started looking into it. What's going on here? So I started looking into this, and in this we continued to notice the problem get worse and worse. And so finally, about 5 years ago, I said, all right, we gotta really start studying this issue. So I got together with some of the firms I work with on a national scale, and we all started looking at the situation. We figured out that there's a problem here, and it's been caused by the opium manufacturers and the distributors, and so a lot of pharmacies as well. Sure. So, contrary to what a lot of people think, the doctors were duped just like the American people.
Oh, sure.
There's no doubt that there are bad doctors out there who had pill mills. There was some of that was going on, but most of the physicians were simply duped by the pharmaceutical industry, just like the American people, to think, oh, these opiates, these are new opiates, they're not addictive. You don't have to worry about that. We got these new processes, they're not addictive, and anybody who gets addicted can be easily managed. Well, all that was nonsense. It wasn't true. The opiates were no different than they were before. So we decided we got to pursue this. Now, what we did in Nevada, a little bit different than a lot of the other states, although some states have been following our lead on this, is we're taking a state strategy. We're keeping our cases in state court here in Nevada, because if I have to try this case for the city of Fernley, I want this case in the city of Fernley.
Oh, absolutely.
Or in the county seat of Urinteen for Lyon County when we try this case. When we try the case for Reno, I want it to be in the city of Reno. When we try the case for Clark County and the cities down there, I want it to be in those counties. And we try the case for the state of Nevada, I want it to be in the state of Nevada. Not some other state, not some other place. And that's the problem with a lot of the national lawsuits that are going on. They're part of what's called an MDL, which is a multi-district litigation. Number one, they're in federal court. All our cases are in state court, much different. They're in federal court. They're part of an MDL, so all those cases have been shipped to the Northern District of Ohio. So you got counties in Oregon and Washington and in Colorado and all places all around the country, from the east to the west coast and the north to the south. There are cases up in the Northern District of Ohio in front of a federal judge up there.
Oh my goodness.
So the juries they're going to have are not going to be the juries for necessarily for. At least the judges who are presiding over this case is not a judge who lives in the community, which we think is important.
Right.
So we're pursuing a state strategy here.
Good.
We've been filing all our cases in state court. We kept our cases out of the MDL. I still work with those lawyers because they're friends of mine, and we've worked a lot together over the years in some big cases. But we're keeping our cases here, and we tend to do that on these MDLs. We tend to keep our cases out of the MDL and pursue them here in Nevada. Nevada in the state courts.
Well, with 30 years experience, I mean, you got a few tricks up your sleeve and a few connections, I'm sure.
Well, I like trying cases in Nevada.
Yeah.
I like our judiciary here. I like our juries here. I like the people here. I grew up here. I'm from here. Been here my whole life, and so these are my people.
Yeah.
And this is where I want to
Absolutely.
be. I don't want to be somewhere in Ohio or Texas or Boston or New York. I do that from time to time when I have to, but if it's a case that concerns citizens of Nevada, counties, cities, and the state of Nevada, I want to hear it.
Yeah. Well, this is home.
It's home.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's home.
Now, in his presentation today, I sat there with my camera. I'm taking pictures of every slide that you had, and the information about the top 5 pharmacies that are distributing the major amount of
distributors.
Yeah, distributors.
The top 3 distributors. The top 5. Well, I think the top 3 are McKesson, Cardinal Health, and AmerisourceBergen. I think Walmart used to be. They were vertically integrated. They used to be one of the major distributors. But they got fined so many times by the DEA for not reporting suspicious orders, and they got shut down. They lost their distributorship. They lost their license. The DEA pulled their license. So what they did was they just transferred all their distribution centers, all their assets to Cardinal Health, and then took an interest in Cardinal Health. So they own part of Cardinal Health. So they're still vertically integrated. They're doing the same thing. They're just doing it through another company, which they own partly. But Walgreens, CVS is vertically integrated. They're a distributor as well as a pharmacy.
Wow.
And Walmart. Those are the top 5 or top 6.
The things people don't know that they need to know. And this is great you're bringing this to light. Yeah. Well, we're going to follow Mr. Eglet and his law firm, Eglet Adams, on everything he does for the whole opioid thing. It's not just for vets, it's for people. Because everybody seems like out here anyway. My God, what was the percentage of people here?
Well, we're the 4th worst opiate prescription drug overdose problem in the country is in Nevada. We have more, 4th in the country. We're number 2 for the amount of oxycodone and and hydrocodone that we consume per capita. We're number 4 for methadone. I mean, we just got a huge problem here, and it's hit the rurals. It's hit us everywhere. Some of the rurals it's hit exceptionally hard, just exceptionally hard, where it's literally wiped out entire generations, or they have entire generations that can't work because they can't pass the drug test.
Right. Yeah. I mean, how common is that nowadays?
It's
everywhere.
It's unfortunate, but it's bad. So it has devastated families, businesses, churches, communities, neighborhoods. And, this is, when we talk about the heroin problem that's going on in this country, it used to be, most people when they're our age, they think of heroin in the inner cities of New York or Baltimore. They think of, young black and brown men mostly addicted to heroin in these inner city streets. That's not the heroin epidemic. This is not the heroin epidemic of the 1970s. Heroin now is across the country, really heavy in the rurals. And the reason for it is the opiate crisis, because these opiate drugs are basically the same thing as heroin. You get the same high, you get the same effect, it's the same thing. So what happens is when they can't get their prescriptions anymore because they get cut off by the pharmacy, they get cut off by the doctor, whatever the case may be, and they're addicted. In many cases it only takes 3 days and they're addicted.
Whoa.
Can't, and the only thing that works is inpatient rehab, and for a significant amount of time too, a long time. That's
sure,
a lot of money for that. So they get addicted and they can't get the prescriptions anymore. So the first thing they do is they turn to the street. And I was talking about the diversion where these prescriptions are coming in mass amounts to these pharmacies, and then half are being written out as legal prescriptions, the other half are going out the back door and be diverted into the illicit market. So they go into the illicit market, they go into the street and they buy these pills. Well, they soon realize that they can get the same amount of heroin as they're paying for these pills for about 1/10 the amount of money. So they turn to heroin. And they're addicted to heroin. So heroin now is not
restricted to the inner cities of the big cities. It is everywhere, and it is in upper class, middle class, lower class. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
It has crossed all boundaries. I don't care what party you belong to. I don't care what race you are. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what part of the country you live in. There is a heroin problem there, and it's affecting all of those people.
Oh, absolutely.
You have got affluent people in our country whose kids have become addicted to heroin. Some kids of affluent people in this country, their parents have become addicted to heroin, and in some cases, the grandparents, the parents, and the kids are all addicted to heroin. That's how bad it is. And when you think about that, 80% of the heroin addiction problem in this country, those people started on prescription opiates. Prescription opiates is the gateway drug to heroin.
Wow. You know, when you talk about that, there was a little town in Michigan, because I'm from Michigan. Well, I'm not going to get in trouble saying it. I'm just going to say it anyway because it is a fact. Called Pinckney, Michigan. It's out. All right. There's not a whole lot around it. It's not a thriving metropolis. It's a great community. My kids went to some of the schools there, as a matter of fact. Now, it's basically known amongst the drug users as, well, before I moved back here, as the heroin capital of Michigan. Not Detroit.
Yeah.
Little tiny Pinckney out in the middle of the woods, basically.
Town.
Yeah.
And of course, these opiate addictions and heroin addictions, and heroin is an opiate, but has significantly contributed to the homeless problem across the country, particularly in our state here. You go down to southern Nevada, down to Las Vegas, North Las Vegas area, and you see all these homeless people. I can tell you right now that almost all of them are addicted to opiates.
Yeah.
Whether it's pills or heroin, that's what they are.
Well, I was walking around Reno today before we came here, and there was a guy laying on the street. Another guy came over and gave him something to drink, and he asked him, "Are you okay?" He goes, "Yeah, man, I'm just hurting." And he told him what pills he was taking. They were all opiates.
Yeah.
And that's why he's laying there. The guy could hardly function.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wanted to get my camera up and...
These opiates don't relieve any pain either.
Oh.
I'm going to tell you what they do. All they do is they make you not care about the pain anymore because you're so high.
He didn't care about anything.
They don't relieve pain.
No.
There's been no decrease in the amount of pain. You just don't care because you're so high. You don't care about anything but that next high. You don't care about your job. You don't care about your kids. You don't care about your spouse. You don't care about your parents. You don't care about your family, your employer, your business. You don't care about anything but getting that next high, and it destroys their lives.
It's never as good as the first high, is it? Because they keep chasing it.
Well, they keep having to take more.
Yeah.
They keep. It might be a 5 milligram dose of oxy to get them high. For a while, and then it has to be 10, then 15, then 20, then 30, and on and on and on up. Because their tolerance builds up, and it takes more and more and more to get the same amount of high.
Sure.
So that's right.
Wow. Well, another good thing that happened today. Would you like to let everybody know what happened with the City Council today?
Oh, yeah. So the City Council voted unanimously to hire my firm to represent them in the opioid crisis.
Now that, my God, after your presentation, not knowing anything else but the things I heard about you, oh my God. We're going to put it on the website. It's amazing. So, they made the right move. There is no doubt about that. Voice of the Vet, which is our organization, and we work with vets on just about every issue we can to help them. Because everybody, except maybe 2 people in our organization, are all vets. But the 2 that aren't, it doesn't matter. They're so dedicated to helping the veterans and people that we want to follow you. We want to offer anything we can do for you. You want anything videotaped or whatever?
I appreciate what you guys are doing, Bob. And as I told you, the veterans are very important to me.
Yeah,
my father and my stepfather are both Vietnam veterans. And, so I understand the military. I was a military brat growing up. And so I understand that. And I have a lot of family members who are military as well.
Good.
And much to my father's chagrin, I turned down an appointment to the Naval Academy. Wouldn't go, but
Didn't turn out too bad for
I
you.
didn't want to be a pilot. I wanted to do this. So.
There you go.
But you know, the veterans are extremely important to us, and the veterans and our seniors, believe it or not, you would think, oh, drug epidemic, it's the young people. Yeah, there's problems with the young people. Sure. You know who this has hit the hardest? It's the veterans and our seniors, because they targeted them. The pharmaceutical companies actually targeted them because they know they're a vulnerable community.
I was so glad to see that in your presentation, because you nailed it. Because it's so, I see them whenever I go out to the VA there in North Las Vegas. I go there 2-3 times a month, to see my doctor and everything. And we'll talk later, because they have me listed as deceased 4 times. 4 times. But I talked to a lot of the vets, and their biggest complaint is they want to shove all these pills down my throat.
Well, see, that's the pharmaceutical industry who convinced the VA decades ago, well over a decade ago, that they don't need surgery, they don't need physical therapy, they don't need this other care, they don't need all this pain management. Just give them these pills.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
a lot cheaper for the VA, a lot more profitable for the pharmaceutical industry, because they're not providing therapy, physical therapy or doing surgery. They're selling drugs.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what they're doing. They're selling. They're drug dealers. That's what they are.
Basically, you're right.
So,
Robert, thank you so much for what you're doing, and it's incredible. You're going to see a lot more of this gentleman and his law firm. I'm just dumbfounded by your presentation today. It was great.
I appreciate it.
All right, you'll see more. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.